Hello everybody, my name is Jitch, and I am welcoming you to another episode of Monday Night Raw here in the WWE 12 universe. We are 24 hours removed from Over the Limit, where Jack Swagger was able to successfully defend his World Heavyweight Championship. But tonight's focus is all about finding out who is going to be joining Jack Swagger in the World Heavyweight Championship match at the next event, because obviously we gotta keep thinking forward. Kicking things off for us tonight on Raw is going to be the former contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge, who lost to Jack Swagger last night after being attacked from behind. I don't really think that Edge should have even... I don't think that match should have happened. I think Edge should be giving another opportunity. I don't think he should have to earn it, but here we are.
Approaching the ring from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, weighing 241 pounds, the Rated R Superstar,
We're going to be having ourselves a rematch from Extreme Rules as Edge is set to go one-on-one with Randy Orton to kick off tonight's Raw. What a match that's going to be. These two set to go one-on-one. Edge has had definitely quite a bit of misfortune as of late. I think he could really use being a part of the World Heavyweight Championship match at Fatal 4-Way. 3 contenders have got to be found for Jack Swagger. All we know is that tonight we're going to be finding out who 2 of those participants are. Of course, the way in which we're going to be finding them all out are going to be some very interesting matchups.
accompanied by DiBiase from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 245 pounds, Randy Orton.
Let's see, first up we've got ourselves a rematch from Extreme Rules where Randy Orton lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Edge, which is why he was immediately taken out of contention for the World Heavyweight title. The leader of the legacy looks to become a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion if he can win this matchup, as he will then be going to Fatal 4-Way to face Swagger and 2 other opponents. Those 2 other opponents, one of which will be found out later on tonight when Batista goes one-on-one with another one of McMahon's chosen favorites, Mason Ryan, in a qualifying match for the Fatal 4-Way World Heavyweight title match at Fatal 4-Way. And that's going to be a very interesting match. We haven't seen Batista in quite some time. As for some reason he's been bumped right down the rankings. I can't imagine why. It's because he's DLC. So we're going to be I can't actually edit the ranks in this season, so I've got to make the people that are DLC that deserve to be higher, I've got to make them earn their spot back up there. And it's just not booking them, so I got to do it myself. It booked so many rematches this week, so I'm going to be messing with the card like crazy. Actually, I'll let you guys in on what it booked for this week's Raw and what I've accepted. So first up, this match was originally booked as Jack Swagger versus Edge again for the 3rd week in a row. So I immediately replaced that, and I hope you all understand why. I've changed the sliders, by the way. I've gone through with what someone recommended. He will reverse a lot less, but it just means I'll have to actually let him take control when and if he does. But it should make for more realistic style matches, is what the forum post that I was using said. Yeah, so Batista's all the way at the bottom of the ranks, so I've got to work him up. And what was I going for? Yeah, so we've got Batista versus Mason Ryan this week, as well as Randy Orton versus Edge, which will already have revealed 3 participants in the World Heavyweight title match at Fatal 4-Way. However, for those wondering who the 3rd match participants are going to be, we're not going to have to wait much longer. Vince McMahon has decided that he is going to take CM Punk and Kane completely out of contention for the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not even considering them as participants for it. Instead, it's going to be 2 very promising recent debuts competing for a gigantic opportunity. We're going to be getting a one-on-one match between Kevin Nash and Brock Lesnar next week on Raw to find out who that 4th and final participant is going to be. Jack Swagger is definitely going to have the deck stacked against him, and when it comes to a 4-way match, it's going to be a lot harder for Jack Swagger to come out with the World Heavyweight Championship intact.
I want to touch on something real quick, and that's the cunning of the Rated R Superstar.
Don't forget what happened the last time these two faced off when the World Heavyweight title was on the line. It was a TLC match, and literally the only reason that Randy Orton even lost the World Heavyweight title in that matchup was simply because he decided that he was going to get too carried away. What the hell is Orton doing? He decided he was going to get too carried away and try to hurt Edge that little bit too much. You can interrupt moves in this game. Why can't I interrupt that? That's weird. I can interrupt some moves. I want to do something that's not the 10 punches. I said I want to do something that's not the 10 punches. And you're going to let me. I really like the attire I made for Edge. I'm proud of that one. I just randomly started playing with colors and I was just happy with how that one turned out. Might be one of my favorites I've made this season. I forgot all about it until he came out in it and I was like, whoa. I'm proud of that. Oh, right into the ring post. That's going to take Randy Orton down for at least a few minutes, seconds, something.
Time and again, Edge has shown that he's capable of doing anything to win a match.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to start stepping in and booking things myself.
Hold on, where's he going?
As, yeah, I was going to get to the match card, wasn't I? And I changed it. So yeah, it booked Jack Swagger versus Edge once again as the opening match. Not even a different spot. It was literally the opening match again, marked as today's remarkable match. I was like, I don't care what storyline they're trying to develop. I don't actually care at this point. I'm sick and tired of those two fighting each other in the opener. So I just said no to it and changed it to this. Then we had a tag team match, which I am actually going to let happen, because I think it's an interesting one. I don't imagine that it's going to go any other way than the obvious, which is the Celtic Cross are going to go 2-on-2 with the Disciples of Darkness. I'm a little nervous because I'm not playing the match, which means that McIntyre's undefeated streak might come to an end. But with any luck, it won't. Not to sound like pessimistic towards the Disciples of Darkness, it's just I really like what I got going on with McIntyre.
There are those biting, icy eyes. The venomous look of Randy Orton.
I believe finishers are actually going to finish matches now.
Uh-oh. Oh, we've seen this from Orton before. Stomping on every exposed body part.
It's funny because I turned that down and it didn't change a damn thing. I turned down like some of the reversals because obviously that's what the slider suggested. And still, he found a way to weasel out of getting hit with a signature.
The Viper. Hey.
The Viper.
These competitors
I guess we'll see. We'll see if Randy Orton's got this right here and now.
Hey, Orton.
Orton. Oh, of course.
Edge is on Dream Street.
Not only does that hurt, but the mind games.
It's fine. Randy Orton's got a different finisher he likes to try and win with now. He is actually showing signs of hurt after getting hit with a finisher. That's good. I know that the ones where like the flames not under it are supposed to be less damage, but I don't even understand how that would make sense in a match scenario. He didn't hit it quickly enough after his signature, so it's weaker now. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, I get that, like, you know, it's the signature finisher sequence. You don't always have to do your signature before a finisher, though. Especially when you use a fucking RKO as your finisher. They're supposed to hit out of nowhere. That's kind of the motto of it. Randy Orton. That's it. He's done. You could count to 1,000,000.
1, 2.
Just kidding. I knew that.
Dangerous submission hold here.
How much punishment? Watch it.
And he powers out.
He's taking control again.
Again.
What a slam by Orton. He drops the elbow.
He sure does, doesn't he, Cole? He sounds so fucking proud of him.
Man, you take a shot
Oh.
like that and you feel it for weeks.
Randy Orton has said, you don't have to like it, but you have to respect it. Do you believe in those words?
Well,
Isn't that what the commentators always say about John Cena?
it's hard to argue with
Like back
success.
then, they were always like, "Oh, you don't have to like him, but you gotta respect him." It's like, I don't actually have to do either of those things. Can't tell me to just because you're on a fucking commentator's booth and everyone has to listen to you babble. I have no issues with John Cena, for the record. I just remember that they used to really milk that line.
And there's
You don't have
one
like
of
the
those great
backbreaker or
moves from
anything. You
Randy
still just
Orton.
got the fucking stompy thing he does. Oh.
Oh, clothesline! If he keeps delivering clotheslines like that,
There you go. Randy's going to that place. Gonna boot his head off.
Randy Orton.
That match put down Kevin Nash hard. Last time he used that. And it secures Randy Orton a World Heavyweight title match at Fatal 4-Way. So there you go. At the moment, the lineup is simple. It is Jack Swagger and Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. Up next, the Celtic Cross are set for tag team action as they face off against the Disciples of Darkness. I've still not told you what the rest of the card it booked is. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. Well done, Randy. You did it. Let's move on. Back here on Raw for a tag team match. Yeah, let's get a load of this. It booked Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar in a rematch that had already happened before, like last week, so I just said no and didn't let that happen. And it booked the main event to be a handicap match, which was Stone Cold from SmackDown versus DX from SmackDown, which it just keeps booking. They're not rivals with each other or anything. There is no reason that it keeps booking it. It just really, really wants that to happen on Raw. Not SmackDown. It never books it on SmackDown. It only books it on Raw, and it's never going to happen. Mark my fucking words. What the fuck?
is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring, the World Tag Team Champions, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre.
I used like the exact numbers to make their attires match, and yet McIntyre's trunks are glowing in comparison to Sheamus's. I must have not done the shade right. Oh well. They're still matching. That was kind of the goal. I kind of took both of their default in-game attires and made them a attire that matches it. It just didn't work as smoothly as the other way around that I did before.
And
Ow.
opponents, Nightmare and Jack Storm.
They've officially made it. Their first match that's not on NXT. They've made it. Well done to them. The Disciples of Darkness making their presence felt for the first time here on Raw as a tag team. I mean, Nemesis... Actually, I don't know if Nemesis has competed on Raw before. I don't think he has. I think since being drafted over, he's primarily been on ECW and then NXT. I don't think he's ever participated on Raw. This is a first. As they look to go 2-on-2 with the champions, the Celtic Cross, who have been holding the tag team titles for, I think, 126 days, but I'll quickly fact check that since I'm not playing this match and I can do that.
We're off, and this tag team match is so volatile,
quick
it could
look, shall we?
explode into an all-out.
Oh, the wiki on the phone isn't very fun.
Oh man, cutting off
I need to fix the phone version of the homepage because it's not supposed to be what it is. It's actually a really outdated description. That's like from the previous. So what the fuck? Really?
Oh my gosh, what a
Is that his signature?
My goodness.
Like I wanted the Celtic Cross to win, not kill him. 126 days, yes, and counting. They are the second longest reigning champions within this series, only to The Miz over on SmackDown, who, for the record, as of the episode this is being recorded, the 24th of May, is holding the championship for 176 days. That's how long The Miz has been Intercontinental Champion for. He's the only man who ever held the title through season 1 and 2. He's the only man to have ever held a title that has just plain and simple never been lost to. Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of McIntyre's colours on Sheamus. It might just be because I got the red wrong though, looking at it.
Sheamus.
I don't think it'd make it much better if I didn't. To be fair, I think maybe he's just got a darker outfit because the blue doesn't match either. Weird. I'm not that fussed.
Hold it up.
I just won't use this attire as much. I don't really like it on either of them, to be fair, so that helps. I really like the black and green and gold. I'll probably make that like their main outfit. I should really make some threads for Nemesis and Jetstar, but I just haven't thought to do that, to be fair.
The Nightmare.
The Nightmare.
And the sound of human flesh on the ground echoes around.
Well, so far, as a tag team, the Disciples of Darkness have only ever competed once. And in that one match that they competed in, they won. Very weird finish to the match, if I remember right. Jetstar kind of got tagged in and then just won. He just went for the pin and got it. So I don't really understand what that was all about, but he got it.
And from here, you can't do much of anything.
Sheamus and McIntyre really controlling this matchup, as is to be expected by these two. The Celtic Cross, the most successful tag team this series has ever seen. No signs of cracking as a team, just a wonderful combination. Held the tag team titles for just over 4 months, is what 120 days estimates at.
Hey! And he fights out of it. He breaks the hold. Folded up like an accordion.
End over end.
Sheamus.
Gonna quickly light a candle.
Oh, and he fights.
That's what you do when you're recording, right? You just start looking at your surroundings and talk about lighting candles and stuff.
Hard shot to the back of the skull. And he escapes the hold.
Oh no! He's got to escape from this one quickly or he can pass out.
There we go. That was weird. I didn't light the first time. I know you're all very immersed in this candle lighting action.
What a beast!
I didn't light the first time. I felt very cheated. I'm actually going to grab my drink too. I'm sorry, I'll just be stepping over to this side of the room. I don't know what this sounds like, but I'm sure it's very interesting to hear. My throat is just very dry already, and I've got like another 2 to 3 episodes to record.
Another boot to the midsection.
I try to separate the days in which I record Impact if I can help it, because I find bouncing between the two games always just really drags down the quality of this one.
The ribs and the lower back, that just takes all of the power out of it.
Counter by Phantom.
There's so much that I enjoy about the newer games. I know that for some reason they are really hated, and that people are getting weirdly nostalgic for the SVR and WWE games now. I know that's a thing, but here's the thing. I have a differing opinion, and that's fucking weird, I know. I really like the improvements they make. I will admit, they definitely lose something with each one. I don't quite know what. I find that the over-cluttered rosters can be a bit much sometimes. But that's just how WWE is these days. They sign as many people as humanly possible. It's probably like, they might even be at like a negative at this point, how much they sign. It's weird, because like there are still people saying that they want other people to come to the company too. And it's like, don't you think they've got enough? Okay, I won't lie. When I heard that John Morrison might be coming back, I was really pumped about that, because I like John Morrison. I do. And as I said before, I just don't really have the time or interest to watch a lot of other companies. I wasn't even watching them in TNA, because to be honest, nowadays TNA doesn't really appeal to me very much. I still follow the Twitter and see like their weekly episode breakdowns and stuff, but it just doesn't appeal to me. The only current day promotions that really appeal to me is WWE every now and then. They do a lot of stuff I don't like, obviously. I just don't pay any attention to it, because why wind yourself up over something you don't like? It just doesn't make sense. There's better things you can do with your time. So, like, they do the odd thing that I don't really care for very much, but I just kind of take a step back, don't really watch it too often. I watched the Fox premiere of SmackDown kind of like in bits. I skipped over a couple matches I didn't care about. but it was just okay. You know, obviously the main event disappointed me, as it would everyone. It made sense, but I didn't like it. It's just kind of whatever. That's my ultimate opinion of it. Was just, it's kind of whatever. AEW, I will say, for those curious on my opinion, does not appeal to me whatsoever. I hate the Young Bucks. I've never really been interested in Kenny Omega. I like Cody Rhodes, but he's kind of Jeff Jarretting himself, like Jarrett did in TNA, and that kind of gets my nerves. Like, I know he's not pushed himself quite as hard yet, but I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me very much. Like, Cody's okay, but he's not like my favorite of all time. He's definitely not even like top 50 material. I don't know what my top 50 would be, please don't ask. I can't stand Chris Jericho these days. Like, he constantly comes up in my timeline. I know obviously the reason he says all the dumb shit he says about WWE is because he's trying to spark a war and an interest in AEW and stuff, and it's obviously working, but I just don't give a shit. It just annoys me instead. It's like, oh good, he said something stupid again, what a surprise. You know, I like John Moxley, no complaints about him, but I'm not going to watch an entire show for one guy. I like the Lucha Bros, but I haven't seen anything to do with them in a long time. There's a lot of the roster I look at and I don't like they were pushing the guy that used to be Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears I think his name is now. Don't like him. Never liked him. Not interested. It just doesn't have a roster that appeals to me at all. TNA seems okay, but they got a lot of people I just don't give a shit about in their main event scene at the moment, so that kind of makes it hard to care. I really don't like Brian Cage. This Michael Elgin guy seems like a cunt, based on the things I've heard about him. You know, they got some cool people. They got Rich Swann, and they got Willie Mack. They've got Rosemary. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't know if like the whole Decay thing is still going on with Rosemary. I remember liking the Decay. Oh, Jetstar, just let it end, dude. don't try to demolition this shit. Just take the loss. We'll get a DQ. DQ works too. We might get a DQ. I don't know what the hell the referee just did. I don't know what that hand signal was, but... Oh, fuck. Who else has TNA even got? I always try to remember who their champions are at the time, because I always struggle with that. Their X Division is like one of the OVE guys, and they don't seem very interesting to me. And obviously, I've heard that they're quite shitty people, apparently. I don't really know what to base that off of. I'm not going to take that as like fact, but I don't know. You know. Again, TNA's roster is just a little weak. It's got a lot of people that don't really appeal to me, like the North. Don't really know anything about them. Could try them out, you know. Obviously, I'm not going to say they're bad. I don't know anything about them. What else are their champions? Obviously, Cage. I think Taya's like the women's champion. She was alright in Lucha Underground. They don't have a mid card like other title, like the global title anymore. I think it's just the X Division title now. I think that's all of their main people, and I don't know, I'm just kind of indifferent to TNA. But recently, I've been seeing a lot of stuff from Dan, because he's obviously a big fan of the NWA, and that genuinely looks interesting to me. It's got quite a few people that I like remember and like on it, and that's quite appealing to me. So I kind of want to give that show a try, considering it's only like an hour an episode. But that's about it. WWE and maybe NWA, because I'm kind of like liking the positivity around it. The problem with WWE, the thing that puts me off it quite often, it's not just like them themselves, but it's the amount of pessimism around it. That's what puts me off wrestling, to be honest. It's just the amount of bitching and whining and pessimism that surrounds it. Like, you're allowed to dislike stuff, but then if you don't like it, just ignore it. Don't go, oh, I tried out Hell in a Cell, and oh, my superior taste said it was trash. Like, okay, it was pretty bad from what I saw. But then, like, just move on. You don't need to go and tell everybody that you thought it was terrible and then tell them all about this show that you watched that's better. Like, I think that's what put me off of AEW as its fans more than anything. Because that's what they're always doing. You know, I heard that there was an AEW chant at the end of Hell in a Cell, and I just kind of cringed at that. Hey, McIntyre got another win. You know, I just kind of cringed at that, because it's like, oh, fuck's sake, man. Like, this is WCPW all over again. You're talking about how some company's going to kill WWE. The only thing that's going to kill WWE is themselves. Just like the only thing that killed WCW is themselves. Not WWE, just WCW's really shitty booking and downfall that they did all on their own. Anyway, I'm done rambling about wrestling companies. There's a victory for the Celtic Cross. As up next, we won't be seeing Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, but instead we'll be seeing the Hardcore Championship being defended as you voted. Next, it will be Vladimir Kozlov versus... I can't remember, so you'll find out in a moment. We are back here on Raw. You guys put in your votes last week, and for Vladimir Kozlov's challenger this week, you guys voted for Cody Rhodes. Unfortunately, due to an injury that he sustained at the hands of Kane, we won't be seeing that matchup, so we're going to have to go with the second top vote, which was Big Sexy Kevin Nash, set to face off against Vladimir Kozlov for the Hardcore title tonight.
The following contest is an extreme rules match and is for the Hardcore Championship. Approaching the ring, representing the powerhouse, the Hardcore Champion, Vladimir Kozlov.
Part of McMahon's trifecta known as the Powerhouse, Vladimir Kozlov comes out with the Hardcore Championship, an ally of both Vladimir of both Mason Ryan, who will compete in a qualifier for the World Heavyweight Championship match at Fatal 4-Way up next in our main event, and the US Champion Ezekiel Jackson. Obviously, McMahon planning on draping his big boys in gold. What the hell?
And introducing the challenger from Marietta, Georgia, weighing 223 pounds, Cody Rhodes.
Well, Cody is finally back on Raw. But, what the hell is on his face? Some kind of protective mask, obviously. Still a member of the Legacy, but this does kind of probably leave Cody and, Randy and Ted wondering what the hell is going on. You guys wanted Cody Rhodes to challenge for the Hardcore title, and it looks like as the winning vote, he was able to make it after all. He's originally not supposed to be here for this title matchup, but he's braved coming out with a protective face mask on. Oh, I don't know what's going on here.
And that's what it's all about.
Quite weird to see two of McMahon's boys going at it as the Powerhouse faces the Legacy. I don't really know if the Legacy is so much of a primary part of McMahon's chosen favorites anymore, to be honest. And Kozlov going straight for an easy target. I don't really know if this is even a fair match, to be honest. I mean, Cody Rhodes is obviously hurt. I don't know if he's quite at 100%. Oh, right in the face.
The ref can only watch and observe here, as there are no countouts. Again, this is a no disqualification match.
The ref shakes his entire body in disagreement with Cody's decision to come out and fight this match. Oh, God.
Oh, no. He's got a sledgehammer.
I'll tell you what, there's definitely no respect if they are McMahon's boys still, the Legacy that is. There's definitely no respect between these two. Vladimir Kozlov has been extremely protective of the Hardcore Championship, which he has held for quite some time now as the first member, the first guy to ever hold it. He's managed to maintain that quite well.
What a boot! Again, this is a no disqualification match. Anything goes. Well, I think that's about to be put to the test here.
Actually come out here and, oh God. Luckily not across the face of Cody. I think that's about the last thing that face could use right now.
no disqualification match. Again, these men can do anything they want.
Kozlov just chasing after Cody. He was trying to keep his distance. Look at this. Blatant. It's so blatant what Vladimir Kozlov is trying to do.
And a huge move on the outside.
I'd love to see someone challenge Vladimir Kozlov that's actually of his own shape and size and a potential threat to his Hardcore Championship reign and doesn't have some kind of disadvantage like returning from an injury like his last two challenges had. Yoshitatsu was just returning fresh off of an injury when he had to face Vladimir Kozlov, who clearly knew that he was weakened. I don't know why a fan had a guitar in the crowd, but they did.
The referee is powerless to stop this one.
Kozlov is just destroying Cody Rhodes right now. This is rough to watch.
Kozlov.
And Cody got his brain scrambled on that shot.
If you're just joining us, welcome.
Another headbutt.
Kozlov,
What is with this guy?
He sees it. Helmut Kozlov may be looking for something big.
Iron curtain.
Jesus, right onto the chair.
And this has got to be it. 1, 2, 3.
Cody was obviously not at any kind of physical condition to have competed in that match, but he was voted in. He tried to return from injury and win the Hardcore title. He didn't stand a chance.
The Hardcore Champion, representing the powerhouse, Vladimir Kozlov.
Pretty sure Kozlov, yeah, he's got a 10-5 win-loss record. Like, he's done well for himself. And here, okay, we're gonna ignore this. We're gonna ignore this one. Yeah. Back here on Raw for our main event as we await the arrival of Mason Ryan and Batista, who are set to go one-on-one to find out who will join Jack Swagger and Randy Orton in the World Heavyweight Championship Fatal 4-Way match in just 4 weeks' time at Fatal 4-Way. It's a really hard name to remember for some reason. You know, I know it's a Fatal 4-Way match. I always forget that the event is also called Fatal 4-Way.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, accompanied by Mr. McMahon. Approaching the ring, representing the powerhouse from Cardiff, Wales, weighing 313 pounds, Mason Ryan.
Was absolute beast Mason Ryan joined the powerhouse last week when he made his debut teaming with Ezekiel Jackson and losing to Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk. McMahon still has very high hopes for Mason Ryan though, as he's put him up in this match against Batista, who I think a lot of people have already made the comparison that he looks just like, so this should be kind of a weird matchup.
And his opponent from Washington, D.C., weighing 290 pounds, the Animal Batista.
The last time we saw this man, he failed to defeat Edge in a contenders match, the tournament final, heading into Extreme Rules. He kind of took a little while to himself to disappear and just kind of, I guess, just think, just get things together, just try and piece together why it is that he keeps coming up short. But now Batista comes out tonight, he is motivated, he is determined, he is ready to take on Mason Ryan and get that spot in the World Heavyweight Championship match at Fatal 4-Way. Batista has found the World Heavyweight Championship to be insanely elusive. He has tried time and time again to get his hands on that gold, and he has failed time and time again. He's not really been able to get that close to it, despite the fact that this guy, he's got a, what, 9-5 record? 8-5 record so far. Apparently he has completed this. He has competed in a match this season, so I stand corrected. That wasn't the last time we saw him. But there's Dolph, the former United States champion, obviously trying to get in the head of McMahon and Mason Ryan. He's got a ticket. He's allowed to be at ringside, whether McMahon likes that or not.
There's the bell. Momentum and pride are on the line as we get going with some.
Mason Ryan got a little bit of a height advantage, but that didn't stop Batista knocking him down.
one right to the head.
McMahon would be so pleased to watch as not only Vladimir Kozlov retain the hardcore title, but as Mason Ryan gets added to the World Heavyweight Championship match. However, if Batista's got anything to say about it, he damn well will.
Just squeezing down on the head here. Watch it. And he powers out.
McMahon up on the side trying to watch on as Mason Ryan gets absolutely manhandled by Batista.
Showing the WWE Universe his rage and emotion.
Oh, fairly certain that's not allowed.
Hard shot by Batista.
Dolph Ziggler has had his issues with McMahon and Jackson and Mason Ryan, the whole lot of them. And obviously those are going to continue on.
And there's a counter by the animal. Look at
Batista's just manhandling Mason Ryan. I don't think Mason Ryan was quite ready for someone the speed, the strength, the size of Batista. He's everything that Mason Ryan strives to be.
Watch it. Oh man, he got turned inside out. Oh, that elbow's got to
Becoming more and more brutal for Mason Ryan, I'm sure.
Batista with a good reversal. What strength, just heaving him up over his head. Blasted by a 290-pound man, chiseled like a stone.
Wow. Batista taking absolutely no time to allow McMahon to try and get into his head.
What does Mason Ryan need to do here, King?
It's actually kind of funny. You'd think that Batista would fit everything that McMahon wants in his little group, the Powerhouse, but yeah, he never tried to recruit Batista.
Mason Ryan gets the shoulder up at 2.
I tell you, Mason Ryan is really struggling to get any kind of control in this matchup. Batista is really showing us how hungry he is for that World Heavyweight Championship. He has fought time and time again to try and become World Heavyweight Champion. I think he's getting sick and tired of being pushed to the sidelines and not getting that opportunity.
Ryan comes up with a great counter. Watch it. Good night. Ow.
Down and out goes both guys.
And a huge collision with the barricade.
Getting a little bit close to Dolph for a minute there. He's obviously got some kind of intent being out here. McMahon really going to try and put his hands on Batista again. Not a legal move right in front of the referee. Dolph may not have won the United States Championship last night, but rest assured, a lot of people are under the beliefs he definitely could have beaten Ezekiel Jackson if it wasn't for the inclusion of one Mr. McMahon at ringside. I'm determined to make this cutscene happen. I want to see it actually happen. Because it never happened in 11. They would just be there and do nothing. That's still not going to happen in this one either, is it?
But it definitely took a lot of damage. Whoa, he's measuring.
Oh,
jeez.
Batista! Oh my god! Oh! Jeez!
2 more seconds, and this could end the count out. He's really going for it
Just
now.
Batista bombed McMahon.
Oh, what a shot!
McMahon managed to recover from that okay, but he is barking at that referee. He is saying, "How dare you let him do that to me?" It's all legal, I suppose.
Right into the steel post. Mason Ryan just got leveled. Well, jarring the head and neck.
Look at the intensity. Look at the stare on the animal's face. He's ready to break somebody in half.
Mason Ryan. Oh, look at this.
Oh, jeez. Wrench that leg out.
Oh, big right hand.
Intercepted.
Big boot by Batista. My God, Batista is absolutely bringing it tonight. Again, I think he could have beaten Mason Ryan quite some time ago, but he's trying to provoke McMahon to get him kicked from ringside. Oh, Jesus. Oh, there's more. Even bigger one. Here's a pin attempt by Batista. Is this going to be enough? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess we should have seen this one coming. Batista holding on to that pin.
Not sure
No, that gets rid of the McMahon problem for now.
Job done. Wow, Ryan felt good job getting to the ropes there.
Oh, gosh. The ref's not going to tolerate much more of this. Uh-oh.
Man is really having a word with the referee. And that's it. He has found himself once again kicked from ringside. Has it created enough of an opening for Ryan, though? That's the question. He definitely never had that advantage with Ezekiel Jackson's matches.
He anticipated that move perfectly.
Jackson, I think it was simply just a matter of McMahon was there for just long enough, whereas in this situation, Batista has not looked in trouble for a second against Mason Ryan. This guy has looked almost entirely ready for the World Heavyweight Championship match that would await him if he were to win. That's gotta be it.
1, 2, 3.
That's all it took. Batista gets the victory over Mason Ryan, and he has qualified for the Fatal 4-Way World Heavyweight Championship match in insanely dominant fashion. I guess he laid out McMahon whilst the camera wasn't looking. Sure. What the hell? What the hell is Del Rio doing here?
No, we need to get some order out here.
Well, Jackson and Del Rio, I think it's supposed to be Jackson and Kozlov. Jackson and Kozlov laying out Batista. Make sure that the powerhouse still stand tall to close out Raw. And I'll see you guys next time tomorrow night on NXT.